I'm going to show you how to make the traditional American dessert apple pie. The first step that we do to make the filling for these apple pies, we start with the fresh ingredients of apples. And we start by peeling the apples on this really cool device that slices, peels, and cores the apples. These. I've peeled 10 cups of apples, enough to generously fill 2 pies, and we have to taste it for their tartness. And these are pretty sweet, so so according to that, we made a mixture to add to that of 1/3 of a cup sugar, 1/4 of a cup of flour, and a tablespoon of cinnamon. And then you mix it all together, and that completes your filling. You can't have an apple pie without a crust, so we'll start by adding the dry ingredients. 7 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 pound of lard or Crisco. And now we combine the dry ingredients. And to mix all the dry ingredients, you can use what God gave you, your own 2 hands. The next step to making the crust is mixing together the moist ingredients. First, you start by adding 1 egg. And beating it inside of the container. Next, you add 1 tablespoon of vinegar. And mix that in with the egg. And then you add enough milk to make all of the moist ingredients 1 cup. The next step for making the dough for the crust is to add the dry ingredients and the moist ingredients together. After you've combined the wet and dry ingredients, you have dough. The first step to make that into crust is to flour the board. And then put the dough on the board, flatten it out a little, and put more flour on top of it so it does not stick. After rolling it to make it about 1/4 inch thick, roll it up onto the rolling pin and transfer it onto your pie pan. Today's pie is going to be rectangular. Now we're going to do the exact same thing and roll out the top crust. The next step to making this a pie is adding the filling. have to transfer the top crust onto the top of the pie. You are almost there. Now trim the edges of excess dough and crimp the edges so the bottom and top crusts go together. And crimp it with a fork. Now make holes with a fork to vent the pie. And you can make it in a design or you can just put them randomly. I'm choosing to make a design that says grade 5. Now we're ready to bake. Bake the pie in a 350-degree preheated oven. It should take about an hour. While the pie is baking, it's a good time to clean up. Pie has been baking for an hour and it smells great, so take it out to see if it's golden brown on the top. And it is, so must be ready. And put it out on a flat surface to cool for about 10 minutes, and then you're ready to enjoy. Although we think of pies as very American, the earliest pies were actually made by medieval cooks and contained mixtures of meat, fish, and fruit, and were used as the main course. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make apple pie, and I hope that you'll make it in the